Hey everyone, so welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I guess you're not the first because I'm new here too. It's my first video. Actually, I guess this would be my second video. My first video was released recently and it was a weight loss transformation video, and I got so many calls, texts, emails, messages through Messenger asking me more. What did I do? How did I eat? There was just an overwhelming response to that video that I decided to put out some more videos. So my hope is to tackle a few topics here and there and see what works for you, and you can take from it what you can. Today I'm going to talk about why I'm not keto. Did I start using keto? Yes. Do I think keto works? Yes. Do I think you can have long-term success with keto? I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because I made the decision not to continue with keto. So I get a lot of questions all the time. What am I doing on my ketogenic diet? What am I eating on my keto diet? How am I tracking macros, and how am I tracking my carb content? All these things related to keto. So I had to put out some information, and mostly it was on my personal Facebook page or my Instagram. I'm not doing keto. I did do keto. I didn't do it very long. I do tend to share recipes on my Facebook page, on my Instagram, that are very keto-like, or they're labeled as keto recipes. And the reason is because it is still pretty in line with what I'm doing. It's just not exactly what I'm doing. And let me explain. So let me tell you a little bit about what I understand about the keto diet. So the keto diet basically is a diet plan where you eat a pretty good amount of protein, you eat very few carbs, and you eat a lot of healthy fats. So some of that is what I'm doing, but the big difference between keto and what I'm doing is that generally on a keto diet, you don't pay as much attention to calories. And after making a lot of changes over a period of time, I realized that for me, calories did matter. Carbs matter for me as well, and sugar matters for me as well. So I decided that I needed to do something more than just keto. I wanted to have more of a clean eating experience. Instead of eliminating foods, I wanted to substitute foods. Instead of avoiding foods, I wanted to figure out a way to still enjoy things, but modify it into a healthier version. So for example, I don't eat white potatoes. Some people are big about white potatoes. I was never really in love with white potatoes, so it really wasn't a big deal for me. I liked French fries, but other than that, it wasn't a big deal for me to give up potatoes. Something that was a challenge for me was bread, and I'll definitely get into that because Mama loved me some bread. But potatoes, I eat sweet potatoes instead. I don't eat white rice. I will eat quinoa. I will generally eat quinoa in a day where I have a lot of activity. If I'm having a really hard workout, if I have a lot of massage clients in a day, quinoa is a great way for me to feel fueled. Another thing that I substitute out is I don't eat white flour. There's no white flour in this household. No. So we have things like almond flour. We have coconut flour. We don't eat white sugar. We consume swerve. We consume stevia, sometimes monk fruit. Some people use erythritol. I have a hard time with erythritol. I tried it, and there are some things I do have that have small amounts of erythritol in it, but sometimes it tears up my stomach. So I do try to steer clear of it if I can, and I just tend to use things more like swerve. The big thing about eating clean, as I would refer to it, is about thinking about the food and how it nourishes your body. I mentioned in my weight loss transformation video that I had a real problem with food. I had to change my relationship with food. Instead of seeing it as a coping mechanism for the way that I was feeling, I decided to start paying closer attention to how my food made me feel and how I felt while I was consuming my food. And I wanted to focus on fueling my body. I decided that I wanted to have specific goals. I wanted to trim up. I wanted to lose fat. I wanted to build muscle. I am a body worker. I do massage therapy. I'm an aquatic therapist. There are different things that I do, and I want to continue to do them, and I wanted to be strong. I have children. They're 10, and they're very active boys. So I wanted to have the endurance and the stamina to play with my kids instead of dad always being the fun parent. I wanted to be fun too, but I wasn't fun because I was overweight. I was tired. I was sluggish. I was not fueling my body appropriately. And that's what I really wanted to focus on, was fueling my body. Another reason that I'm not keto is that I consume things that are not necessarily encouraged on a ketogenic diet. So ketogenic, again, focuses on depleting your body of sugar. So that being said, there are certain things that are really discouraged on the ketogenic diet, and that would be fruit. Now, they do suggest that if you want fruit, you have things like berries. I actually never was a huge fan of berries. I liked oranges. Peaches are my favorite. Love me some peaches. Bananas. Who doesn't love a good banana? But bananas are one of the highest in sugar. So I eat bananas, but I eat them as green as possible. The longer, or I should say, when a banana is green and it changes colors, the sugar content actually changes the more ripe it gets. People don't know that. So when you're looking at a banana that's very yellow and it even has maybe some brown spots starting, it is extremely sweet. It's great for banana bread, but it's not great for staying in ketosis or trying to limit the amount of sugar that your body's consuming. So when I do get bananas, a lot of times I'll get green bananas and I will cut them up and I'll put them in the freezer right away. And I talk about that in another video that I've already pre-recorded. The other thing that I consume that is discouraged on a ketogenic diet is things like steel cut oats. I love overnight oats. If I know I'm going to have a really busy day the next day, I'm going to have massages, I'm going to do a workout in the morning, I'm going to be running around doing errands, I'm going to come home and clean house, then that's a day that I want more fuel. And I'll put all kinds of good stuff in it. I'll put almond butter in it, I'll put nuts in it, I'll put some coconut flakes in it. You name it. Chia seeds, love me some chia seeds. Seeds are and nuts are encouraged on a ketogenic diet. However, they're also pretty high in calories, at least nuts are. So I do try to, I should say, limit the amount of nuts I have. I love cashews, I love almonds, I love walnuts, but I do try not to go overboard with them because the calories can add up pretty quickly. Another reason that I don't tend to eat ketogenic is that people who have a keto lifestyle do tend to eat a lot of processed foods. They eat a lot of lunch meat. They eat a lot of cheese. I love me some cheese. My son Judge, favorite food ever, loves cheese. The challenge with cheese is if you've got a sensitivity to dairy, it can tear up your stomach, and cheese is very high in calories. It may be lower in carbs and it may be lower in sugar, but the calories are going to add up. So I mentioned before that with the ketogenic diet, it really doesn't encourage people necessarily to pay a lot of attention to their caloric consumption. I realized after keeping a log of my food and what I was consuming each day, that even though I was eating a lot of the foods that were recommended on the ketogenic diet, I was actually either staying the same in my weight or I was actually gaining weight. And what I realized was that I was consuming too much food or I was consuming too many calories. So something that I also did was I cut my portions down smaller. And it was a little harder at first. I had to get adjusted to it. And I started small. But then by the end of it, I realized I was eating more frequently, just smaller amounts. And I felt fuller longer. So that may be something that works better for you. That's another reason why I'm not necessarily on the ketogenic diet. If you look at some of the keto recipes, the calories can be pretty high, especially if it's a recipe that has a lot of cheese in it. Another reason why I focus more on just eating clean and eating more vegetables and more fruits is that even though they may be a little higher in sugar, such as fruits, they're actually very low in calories. You have vegetables that may be discouraged on the list, but they're also lower in calories. So a rule of thumb truly is, if you're going to have a plate, and people don't know that a lot of times when they have a general plate, there's another circle in the middle or an area in the middle. You really want your food to fit in the middle of the plate. You don't want it piling over the sides of the plate. And I was really bad to do that. Constantly piling on all the food. It's a lot of calories, and a lot of it we just didn't need. So I focus on keeping my food in between the plate. I'm eating whole foods as much as possible, and I'm paying somewhat of my attention to the calories. And calories are going to come from things that are not fruits and vegetables or your protein. There is some calories there, but generally vegetables are very low in calories. There is another girl that I follow on YouTube, and she's, I think her name is High Carb Hannah. She lost a tremendous amount of weight. And though I don't believe that I could do what she's doing necessarily, I do agree with her thought process. She eats a ton of vegetables. And I had to learn to appreciate vegetables. And I don't think I'm alone in that. Not everybody likes vegetables. I'm asking myself, am I preparing a nourishing, fulfilling meal that's going to meet all of our needs? My husband has diverticulitis. I mentioned that in the weight loss video. And at some point I'll talk more about his needs and how they differ from mine. But he can't have seeds, he can't have nuts. So it does make me aware of what I prepare for us, but I'm always thinking about his gut health and mine as well. Gut health is so incredibly important. So we try to just basically eat clean. Tips for eating clean. If you are going to eat clean, read the labels. Do yourself a favor and read the labels. You will be surprised at how many things are not what they seem. You think it's healthy, and then if you read the label, you're like, oh, there's all this extra added sugar in there. It adds up. It adds up quickly. So do yourself a favor, do your research, read the labels. I can't stress this enough. Thinking ahead and prepping is one of the most vital things that you can do. I talk a lot with my clients about self-care, and something that I knew I needed to do was I needed to think ahead. I had to prepare. I had to plan. I got a dry erase board and I started throwing up meal plans on it, and I would buy ahead of time, and I would buy in bulk as much as I could anyway, and then I would cook in bulk. Now, I will say this, we don't have the biggest refrigerator, we don't have the biggest freezer, but I do tend to make a meal that will give me 5 servings, and I will generally put probably 2 of them in the freezer. Literally meals that I can eat at another time in a couple weeks. I will usually try to make sure that I have lunch prepared for my husband for the next day, so it's usually dinner from the night before. I do try to make things that are creative. My rule of thumb is I make 1 new meal a week. I try, and then I make things I've made before in the past through the week. And I usually make 1 soup. But thinking ahead has been vital for me, and coming up with different things, researching different ideas. You'll thank yourself if you prep. If you don't know how to prep, there are great resources online. You can go to YouTube. I will probably be putting out some stuff on prepping out your food, just things that worked for me. But think ahead and prep your stuff. Pack a cooler. I used to actually get some flack about carrying a cooler with me when I decided that that was it. I was going to be serious about this. I was going to hone it in and figure out what worked for me. I realized that I did not have the flexibility or the luxury to not have a cooler with me. I needed to have my food with me all the time. My schedule can change anytime. Something that I talk to my clients about every single day is the importance of drinking water. Water is so important. Do yourself a favor, get yourself a water bottle. Make it a goal to drink water. I talk to my clients about water, And sometimes I will suggest, if it's someone who doesn't drink a lot of water, set out a goal to drink an 8-ounce bottle of water. Then the next day do 2. Do it for a couple days, then do 3, and do it for a few days. If you're someone who drinks a lot of pop, that was me. I was obsessed. I'm still obsessed with soda. So I try not to keep it in the house. But when I do, it's very rare, and I keep it in the pantry so I can't even see it. But if you're someone who drinks a couple of sodas a day, then just trade out 1 bottle or 2 bottles for your water. But do yourself a favor and drink as much as you can. I actually have this bad boy, and I carry it everywhere I go. And I've actually already refilled it. So I probably drank to about here sometime earlier this afternoon because I had a workout, so I had to refill it. And I'm thankful that I bought that. Now that may not work for you, maybe a different water bottle, but whatever you need to do, drink water. Your complexion will clear up, your bowels will move better. Yes, I'm talking about poop. We're going to be talking about poop, let me tell you, because poop is important, and water is going to keep your digestive tract nice and clean and healthy. Don't starve yourself. That is another tip. Do not starve yourself. We get into this routine where we are so busy, and we're busy taking care of other people, and we're running here and we're running there, or you think, well, maybe if I just skip this one meal, I'll get where I need to be. You are doing more damage by starving your body. When you starve your body and you finally do have an opportunity to get food and you haven't planned ahead and you don't have a cooler, but you have a couple bucks in your pocket, where are you going? You know it, you're going to fast food. And that is going to stunt your progress. And then you're going to feel bad about it. And you're going to feel bad about yourself. And then you're going to go right back into this cycle. Don't starve yourself. You make poor choices when you starve yourself. I know, because I was there. I did it all the time. And I thought, you know, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. And you are worth more than that. You need to fuel your body. Do not starve your body. Think ahead, prepare, pack a cooler, whatever you need to do, but don't starve yourself. Last tip, and some people are really going to hate me right now, but I'm going to say it. Alcohol. Ooh, I'm sorry, I went there. Yes, alcohol is probably one of the worst things that you can do. It is going to stunt your progress. And I'm going to tell you why. It dehydrates the body. It makes you feel bad. It changes the chemical makeup, everything that you're working towards. If you're in ketosis and you are doing keto, it can throw you out of ketosis. Now, I'm not saying that having an occasional glass of wine or a drink here or there is going to really put you behind in your progress. But drinking in excess is going to hurt you. If you want to live a cleaner lifestyle, then that's something you're going to want to avoid. Now, I do have a couple bottles of wine in my house. They were gifts. They're probably going to be here a while. I'm just not a big drinker for a lot of reasons. I mentioned in my first video that I moved to Colorado, and unfortunately I just went out on the deep end, and I drank and I drank and I drank, and the weight just piled on, and it piled on so fast it made my head spin. And when I finally decided to leave Colorado and move to Tennessee, I lost like 25 pounds my first month just because I quit drinking. So if you're looking to live a cleaner lifestyle and you want to eat clean and you want to drink clean, then that means at least limiting your alcohol consumption. Trust me, you'll thank me later. What I'm going to say in final about keto is that it's not necessarily a bad thing. And if you are doing keto and you're having results, great results with keto, and you want to continue doing keto, go for it. But I personally, I'm not keto. I'm not comfortable calling myself keto. I eat foods that are not on the recommended list. I don't follow ketosis. I have done intermittent fasting. I had some results from that. I'm not currently doing intermittent fasting, and I will cover that on another video. But ketosis can be good, but it can also be stressful, and it can also put some pressure on your kidneys. So if you're doing keto, make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids, you're drinking a lot of water, you're getting in enough electrolytes, you're getting in enough potassium, which may be hard if you're not eating bananas, but there's a lot of things that you can get potassium from. But there are other tips and tricks if you're on a ketogenic diet and you've just started your journey and you need more. There's so many resources available. If you're someone like me who started keto because it put you down the right path, but you just want to focus more on a clean eating diet, then that's something you may want to consider, and you may want to research that. I have said this before to many people, and I will continue to say it. Weight loss is not just about weight loss. It is about health. It's about improving your health. It's about getting to the best version of yourself possible. And that means that you're going to have some trial and errors. You have to figure out what works for you. What works for you may not necessarily work for me, and vice versa. Weight loss and or improving your health is not a straight line. You're going to have some failures along the way. You're going to have some learning curves and some learning lessons. Be kind to yourself. Figure out what works, what doesn't work. I kept a journal, finally. It took me forever to keep the journal, and I realized that there were certain things that were triggering me, things that were triggering my emotions, things that were triggering weight gain, things that made me feel inflammation. There are foods that do cause inflammation, and I'll probably cover that maybe in another video. But in the meantime, if you're on this journey and you're just looking to eat clean, just be sensible. Make a list of things that you like. Make a list of things you don't like. Research what makes sense for you. Keep a log and just start. Put one foot in front of the other. So if you haven't already liked and subscribed to my channel, can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm saying it, then do that, and hopefully I'll get some more videos out for you. Do that. That's a new word. That's from the dictionary. You can look it up. But thanks so much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in another video.